So you want to be a player, but your spells don't fly? You better watch this video and then your spells will fly. This is my new campaign that I'm about to start running tomorrow. And let's create an unassigned character, the 7th one in here, who will be a spellcaster, and that will allow me to showcase what spellcasting is, how it works, etc. There are several types of spellcasters in D&D. The standard, most simple one to understand is the wizard, which is what we're going to start with here. And we'll get into some more flavorful classes in a bit. So we're going to say this guy's name is Credence Clearwater Revival. And I'll make it a she. Let's make it a she. She is a elf, Eladrin elf. I don't know why there's two of them. Well, I do know why there's two of them, but it's kind of not smart to put it that way. Anyway, class is going to be wizard for now. Most of the classes have spellcasting abilities, even the barbarian, if you choose the totem warrior subclass later on, when you're at level 3 or 4, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so we're going to choose a wizard skill. We're going to go very typical here, so that would be Arcana. And what else? History. Cool. Now you'll see, unlike with the previous character that we made who was a fighter, we have a little thing here called spells. Now, yeah, let's get into that first. You can quick build a spellcaster as well. I'm just not doing that because I'm doing it from the campaign, which doesn't let you do the quick build option. I don't know why. It's a bit of an oversight, but anyway. These are the spells that we can now choose for the wizard. There are a lot of them, okay? And you will notice over here there is a filter. Spell levels they can be a bit confusing at first if you, well, they won't be confusing after you hear me finish the following sentence, which is your character level is not the same as your spell levels that are available to you. So at level 1, if you're a wizard, you get access to cantrips, which are basically level 0 spells. You can just think of them that way. In fact, on the spell cards, which I bought and am not going to use because physical distancing, there's a little icon which has a 0 on them, so you can call them 0 level spells. So a 0 level spell is one that is always available to you as long as you have it prepared. It doesn't use up any spell slots. What's a spell slot? It's a slot that allows you to cast a spell. If you're a wizard at level 1, you get 2 spell slots, I'm pretty sure. And as you continue, you get more spell slots. There are spell slots for each spell level, and at level 2 as a wizard, I think you get 1 spell slot for level 2 spells, and you can learn level 2 spells. I'm not so sure about that, but it doesn't matter. It's just to give you an idea of what a spell slot is. It's like your mana pool in a video game, except it's not a pool, it's slots. So cantrips, they tend to be pretty basic spells, but they can be quite powerful. Some cantrips are more powerful than, higher level spells, so don't underestimate them. And cantrips don't need to be I was going to repeat myself, so I'm not going to do that. Then there are let's deal with the 0 level spells, the cantrips first. when you click on one of them, the abilities are described, and my computer is going yellow because it is 10 o'clock. Chill touch, okay, very nice. Firebolt is like the standard spell. This is just meat and potatoes D&D. Let's see. Ray of Frost is almost as commonplace as Firebolt. What else are we gonna learn? True Strike is one of the most useless spells in the game, so we're not going to choose that. We can go Prestidigitation. This is not a excuse me. This is not a combat spell. It's like a magical trick that you do. You can trick your enemies into doing things. Minor Illusion. You create a small sensory effect which doesn't hurt anyone but can manipulate people. And that is going to be it for our cantrips. We've got 3, and then prepared spells at level 1 we only get 1 prepared spell. However, there is no limit to the number of spells that we can learn here. So according to where's my wizard? Okay. According to the basic rules, which you can for free see on the D&D Beyond website, let's see. Choose the Mage Hand, Light, Ray of Frost. Okay, we got one of them. That's good enough. Along with the following first level spells for your spellbook. That's Burning Hands, Charm Person, Featherfall, Mage Armor, Magic Missile, and Sleep. If I remember all of those now, I will be very amazed at myself. So one of them was Mage Armor, Sleep, Burning Hands. What else was there? Identify is pretty good, because when you see when you have a magic item, you need to identify it. If you've played Diablo 2, Deckard Cain used to do that. After saying to you, stay a while and listen. How's that for a Sean Connery impression? Burning Hands, Charm Person, Featherfall. Featherfall is not, I don't like Featherfall, but anyway. Charm Person, Featherfall. Major on Magic Missile, Sleep. Okay, that's all we have. And you will notice that if I just keep clicking, there's no limit to the number of spells I can learn. The reason for this is because wizards, and this is only available to wizards and clerics. I hope I'm getting that right. Wizards and clerics can learn as many spells as they can, or as they want to, provided there's a narrative reason for it. So when you level up, you get to learn some more spells, and you also can just come across spells. Like you come across a spell scroll, and it takes you something like 4 hours, if I'm not mistaken, to 4 hours of in-game time. I mean, you're not gonna learn a thing in 4 real life hours of in-game time. It takes you 4 hours, so maybe during a long rest while the others are sleeping, you're there learning your spells and stuff, copying it into your spell book. That's another thing we should go into, which we will do right now. So, or in a second. Okay, we cannot prepare the spells from this page. We'll only get to do that on the character sheet. So, our abilities, which we have not chosen yet, we're going to go standard array. For now, the point buy system, you can use that as well. I've noticed my one player that has already joined my campaign has used the point buy system. That's fine. It's a bit more of an advanced method, but look, it's pretty self-explanatory. You get a lot more freedom, and you can min-max your character. Min-maxing, I think this video would be the you're now at a level of understanding of the game where this would make sense. The standard array, you just get these numbers and you can put each one wherever you want in these 6 slots. The point buy system, which I'm not going to use now, but I'll just demonstrate how it works, gives you 27 points, and you could replicate the same numbers that we saw in the standard array. So if we do that, we go 15, 14, was there a 13, 12, 10, and 8, right? This is the standard array, and that leaves us with 27 points. But what the standard array does not do is give you the option to, for instance, hold on, if you want to make your strength, hold on 1 second. Okay, what the hell, man? Okay, never mind. So we've made everything 8. So it doesn't give you the option to make more than one of your skills 15. So let's say I'm a barbarian and I want to make my strength, dexterity, and constitution 15s each, right? And these should be 8s. So that means my modifiers are going to be -1, -1, -1, and then +2, +3, +2. So the point buy system allows you to do that, but we're not doing that here. As a wizard, your spellcasting ability, meaning the ability whose modifier you're going to use when you cast a spell, is intelligence, because you're a learned scholar. That's how a wizard gains his magical powers. He just learns them. So much respect to that guy. Okay, and we have a racial bonus because we're an elf, for dexterity, which isn't really useful here, but anyway. Let's go, you know what, dexterity is going to be the lowest, so that we're not going to have any minuses on this. That's fine. Wisdom is going to be 14, because that's a saving throw proficiency as well. Constitution, let that be a 10. Strength will be 12, and charisma 13. Okay, very nice. Moving on, description. Our background will be acolyte. Why not? Once again, all the descriptions are over here. Languages, let's learn deep speech, because why not? And draconic. Because we're an acolyte, we get the Shelter of the Faithful background feature, which is described here. Suggested characteristics. I don't think I did this last time, but let's do it now. Yeah, I idolize a particular hero of my faith and constantly refer to that person's deeds and example. That's a decent personality trait. We should choose 2. These are only guidelines, and they don't mechanically affect the game at all. It's just something that you can use as a guideline to act in a certain way. If the game ever gets boring, or you feel like your character is not shining enough or anything like that, you can use one of these things. Like, I quote or misquote sacred texts and proverbs in almost every situation. So you're walking down, everyone's just kind of feeling like there's a lull in the game, and you go, ah, well, the splendiferous whatever the fuck you want to say. That's what we call in this game flavor. So ideals, all of these things fall into that category. And the flaw, as you will hear from many other D&D sources, the flaw is really what most defines your character. So our ideal is going to be, I don't know, aspiration or butt-peration, for those who enjoy dumb jokes. Bonds. I would die to recover an ancient relic of my faith that was lost long ago. Flaws. I judge others harshly. Once I pick a goal, I'm inflexible. Let's go. My piety leads me to blindly trust those that profess faith in my God. Very apt. Character details. Alignment. I don't know if we went over this last time. This is, once again, in this game, it's basically just a suggestion. Something that to guide your role playing within the game. In previous versions, you would suffer penalties when you act against your alignment. But in this game, if you're a cleric, not a cleric, although this does apply to clerics as well, but especially if you're a paladin, you have to take an oath. And if you act against that oath, your god will punish you in some way. You can lose abilities if you act against your oath. So the oaths of the paladin and the, what's it called, divination, school of divination for clerics, we'll get to that in a second, kind of replace alignment. And similar to that, the warlocks have an otherworldly patron whom they must obey in some cases, in others not. Like if it's the Great Old One, it doesn't even know you exist most of the time. So lifestyle, this is just flavorful stuff. It doesn't really. It's mainly for your dungeon master to know how much to make you lose each day, but it's something that's worked out while you're playing. Even if I explain what this is, and it's pretty self-explanatory as well, it's going to depend on the game you're playing and what the characteristics of that are. Okay, let's see. These are all the things we just chose. We don't have any notes. And equipment. Oh, we didn't choose a portrait. Let's do that. Who are we? That chick. Cool. Acolyte. Equipment. Quarterstaff. A quarterstaff is a stick. It's the reason it's called a quarterstaff is it's pretty long. It's often taller than you. It's called a quarterstaff. Most likely, this is thanks to Lindy Beige. I got this information from. Subscribe to his channel. Quarterstaff is most likely called a quarterstaff. It's 10 o'clock at night. Because it is made from if you cut a tree trunk in 4 quarters, each of those quarters gives you 1 quarterstaff. You don't want to get a quarterstaff from the middle of the tree because basically it's a lot more brittle, because that's where the water, the tree sucks water from, so it's kind of hollow. It wouldn't make a good staff if you do that. But if you get it from the sides, like you don't have the middle part of the tree in your staff, then that's a strong staff. Okay, Scholar's Pack, a component pouch, or an arcane focus. Okay, so these are things that we're going to use for spellcasting. A component pouch is something that contains not all, but all the basic ingredients of your spells. Most spells require some sort of material to cast. They don't necessarily use the material, but they do require you to have it, and you have to kind of, be able to touch it and, do stuff with it in your hands in order to cast a spell. So it's like a knife. You don't lose the knife after you use it to cut. You just need to have it, otherwise you can't cut things. Same with component components of a spell. We'll get into that when we get to the character sheet. Or an arcane focus. An arcane focus can act as a substitute for the components. Okay, let's choose an arcane focus because they are cooler than component pouches, especially for wizards. And that's going to be an orb. What's the difference between an orb and a... Never mind. Holy symbol. Can your holy symbol be your arcane focus? If you play in my game, yes, why not? Because it's just an extra item. But for now, let's keep things as they are according to this system. So we're gonna have a reliquary. I don't know how to pronounce that. A prayer wheel, a prayer book. Books are better than wheels. And add starting equipment. That is what we have been bestowed. Once again, you have to wield your stuff. You'll notice we're not wearing armor. Wizards generally do not wear armor because they are not proficient in any armor, and you can wear armor and increase your armor class, but that is going to prevent you from casting pretty much all your spells. Because if you're not proficient in it, it takes concentration for you to wear the armor, and therefore you can't concentrate on casting your spells, so you can't wear armor. So wizards, you need to make sure you don't get hit. Okay. Yeah, we're not going to add any items, but it is also something that you can do. And that is our wizard named Credence Clearwater Revival. We're going to go Underdark mode once again. And you will notice here, where once there was the inventory tab, there is now a spells tab. So let's click on that. These are the spells that we've chosen for ourselves, or the cantrips rather. Cantrips, simple spells, 0 level spells. They don't need to be prepared. You can cast them, as it says here, at will. Now we did choose a few first level spells, but they don't appear here. Why, you ask? Because they are not prepared. In order to prepare them, we have to go manage spells and go to, these are the cantrips again. They're always prepared. They cannot not be prepared. Spellbook, and these are the spells that we chose. So at first level, we can have 1 spell prepared. I will feel very silly if that turns out not to be the case. So let's see, Magic Missile. Okay, I am feeling very silly at the moment because it turns out we can prepare 3 rather than just 1. So Featherfall is stupid. We're gonna go Burning. No, we're gonna go Sleep. Okay, very nice. So now we can cast a spell, and when we do, one of the spell slots is filled. We can cast this again or cast another one, and that's going to fill another slot. And that's it for today. Until we do a long rest, I don't know what happens at a short rest actually. You'll find that out when you play the wizard. But if we do a long rest, take long rest, we can reset maximum HP. This will be depending on what your dungeon master says. Are you going to reset your maximum HP or not during every long rest? I say I don't know. I'll decide when we start playing the game. Take long rest and confirm. And these spell slots are going to replenish. There they are. Whereas these guys you can cast as it were at will. So now why can I not? Why can't I cast a motherfucker? What the hell is going on here? Attack. Why can't I roll the motherfucker? What the shit is going on here? Hey! Why? Why you do this? What's going on? I cannot... Oh! I think I know why. Let's see. I think we disabled dice rolling. I think that's what happened. Yes! So we all learned something today. Don't be stupid. And now we can do the things. Let's do the things. Quarterstaff, this is just hitting stuff with your staff. Your hit, the attack modifier is +3. It's not even a plus. It's like the weakest stuff you can do. Firebolt. Let's do a firebolt instead. +4 to hit. 3. That was a weak ass firebolt. But anyway, let's just do that as well. Okay, rolled a 9 on that. 9 points of damage on the firebolt. Very good. Even though it probably didn't hit anything. And that is basic spellcasting. It is now 26 minutes. Let's get into the other spellcasters. So this is a wizard, right? We're clear on the wizard? Cool. I'm not going to explain any of this stuff. And we see we only have a measly 6 points of hit and a measly 10 points of armor class. It doesn't get lower than this unless you have like negative modifiers, which I don't even know if that's possible. Anyway, you'll notice I'm not as comfortable with spellcasting as all the other stuff, and that is because I have not actually played this game. I've only dungeon mastered it. So that feels like it should go on a t-shirt. But anyway, that's it for this guy. You can, if you're in my campaign, you can choose this lady, CCR, I guess we'll call her. And then we move on to the next person. Okay, this is rules. This is more rules. Let's go back to my campaigns and create. What are we gonna create? Let's see. Unassigned character, of course. Okay, no to all of these things. Yes, all of that. I'm gonna leave all these for you guys, by the way, because I know chances are you are gonna be in my game if you're watching this. Let's see, cleric. What's the nice Florence Nightingale? She was a cleric and a lesbian, the best kind of cleric. The lesbianist of clerics and the clericist of lesbians. I'm here all night, folks, for all these wonderful jokes. Okay, there we go. That's a nice looking cleric. Race. What does she look like? Half elf. Let's go half elf. Wood. Yeah, why not? Ability score increase. Let's go wisdom, because that is the spellcasting ability of the cleric. And constitution. Languages, we get an extra language, so that will be Dwarvish. And half-elf variant, whatever Mask of the Wild is. I don't know. Does that give us any more options? No, it does not. You can attempt to hide even when you're lonely, lightly obscured by foliage. Okay, very nice. Next. Class, cleric. Yes. Proficiencies, religion, because we are a religious motherfucker, and medicine, divine domain. Now, we didn't get anything like this for the wizard, and that's because wizards choose their school of wizardry at 2nd level. What that means is at lower levels it still doesn't really matter. It basically just gives you an easier time learning new spells for that particular school. So there are schools of like necromancy, abjuration, conjuration, evocation. There's also the blade singing school, which you have to be an elf if you are, because blade singing was invented for and by and only for elves. There's also war magic. Yeah. So that only happens at 2nd level for the wizard. The equivalent of that for a cleric is the divine domain. And the divine domain you have to choose at level 1. The reason for that is because that's where you get your power from. So let's see. We already have a Twilight Cleric, so let's go Death Domain. What does that mean? We get a bonus proficiency with martial weapons. And the cleric learns 1 necromancy cantrip. And the cleric casts a necromancy cantrip. Make 2 tries. You can read for yourself what it says there. Toll the Dead is a very cool spell. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but here it is. It's very nice, very powerful shit. Next. Standard Array. Wisdom will be the highest score because that's our spellcasting ability. I'll get into exactly what that means when we get to the character sheet in a minute. So, Wisdom, Charisma, why not? Constitution, Intelligence, Strength. Strength should be a bit higher, but it's fine. Description. Let's see. Hermit, Knight. Yeah, let's go Knight. Choose a gaming set. Yeah, that's fine. Infernal, why not? Equipment. Warhammer, let's go Warhammer. We do not have proficiency for chainmail, that's fine. Let's go scale mail. Priest's pack. Reliquary. No, we chose that for the other guy, so let's go emblem. Certifying clothes and all that good stuff. Then we're going to start wielding these things. Inventory, wear, wield. Next, character sheet. What did I say I was going to show you? The wisdom spellcasting ability. Okay, cool. So, Underdark mode. And, okay, spells. Our modifier is +3. Why is it +3? Because our wisdom is +3 and a cleric's spellcasting ability is wisdom. Their spells are as strong or as weak as the cleric is wise or unwise. The spell attack DC is 15. The save DC is 13. Okay, what does that mean? When we cast Ray of Sickness, we have to roll, Florence Nightingale over here has to roll a 20-sided die, and that will determine whether or not she hits the target. And in this case, she definitely did not. That's a natural 1. We do not want that. That's what we call a critical failure. So depending on your dungeon master, the consequences of that may vary from none at all to quite bad, like you stick your finger up your butt or something of the sort. Now, and then we just do the normal damage. Okay. This, on the other hand, is set already. This means the target of whatever you're targeting, like let's say you're trying to do Toll the Dead on a goblin, the goblin has to do a saving throw. So the goblin is going to throw a 20-sided die. If they roll, and it'll be a wisdom saving throw. For the purposes of this, let's say, and I think this is actually correct, the goblin's wisdom modifier is -2. That means if the goblin rolls a 15 or lower, because 15 minus 2 is 13, that means it's going to fail the throw. So the only thing that the cleric is going to do is roll this one die. We have sickness, that was an 8, so if the goblin or whatever we were targeting, and this is a thing that targets more than one thing, by the way. You point at one creature. Okay, that's not true. I just lied to you. You point at one creature you can see within range, and the sound of a dolorous bell fills the air around it for a moment. The target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or take 1d8 necrotic damage. If the target is missing any of its hit points, it instead takes 1d12 necrotic damage. I don't know why that doesn't exist here. I feel like it should be on the next thing, but anyway, who am I to judge this? We'll sort this out in the game if it comes up. So you have a 12-sided die over here. You can just roll that instead, and there we go. We rolled a 1. Fucking useless. So once again, the cleric has spell slots just like the wizard. If you cast this guy and you cast this guy, we're done. We can't cast any more until a long rest. Same story as before. That's it. So this guy or gal, you can see is pretty... I was gonna do this full screen thing at the beginning, but anyway. She's pretty strong, even though she's a spellcaster and, you know, quite proficient in spellcasting as well. She can hold her own in a physical fight as well. Armor class is 16, much better than the 10 that the wizard had. Hit points are 10, unlike 8 like that the wizard had, and she can swing a hammer. Okay, the strength is -1. I should have made this a 10 and this an 8, but anyway, doesn't matter. So this is kind of on the same par as the wizard, really. Anyway, we have proficiency light armor, medium armor, etc. Okay, so much for the cleric. Who's next? Warlock. Let's go Warlock. My campaigns. View campaign. And create an assigned character. Confirm, yes, motherfucker. Okay, this is just, you don't have to do this every time. It's just my own pedanticness that makes me do this every single time because I want everything to be uniform, and I might have even missed some. Okay, that's gonna be a warlock, right? What do warlocks look like? That guy. That's a deep gnome. And what's his name? Zazu. Yeah, Lion King. That's from Lion King, isn't it? Anyway, I don't know. I don't care. Choose a race. That was a deep gnome. Or Svirfnirblin. That's actually what they're called. Gnome cunning, dark vision, stone camouflage. Okay. And we are a Varlock. Proficiencies. You'll see some of the stuff starts to repeat itself. That means you're learning. You've learned things. Okay. What else? Intimidation, I don't know. And otherworldly patron. So like the cleric, we get our spell casting abilities from an otherworldly patron. I'm gonna go the great old one because, or maybe the hexblade. Nah, let's go the great old one because Thuluthang. Pact magic. Okay. Your arcane research and the magic bestowed upon you by your patron have given you facility with spells. See spells rules, etc. Show more. Cantrips. This just explains what cantrips are. You get 2 cantrips. You get some more stuff. Now, a warlock doesn't get never mind. I was going to say something wrong. Expanded spell list, great old one, expanded spells. These are things that you just automatically get when you get to these levels. First, second, and third, you get these respectively. Awakened Mind. Starting at first level, your alien knowledge gives you the ability to touch the minds of other creatures. You can telepathically speak to any creature you see within 30 feet of you. You don't need to share a language with the creature for it to understand your telepathic utterances, but the creature must be able to understand at least one language. That's a nice little caveat. These guys really thought of everything. Okay. And what spells are we going to have, I hear you ask? Well, you'll notice these are a bit different from the ones we had before. Well, maybe they're not that different. Let's go Witch Bolt and Tasha's Hideous Laughter. Who is Tasha? Tasha, you may recognize from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything if you've been looking up D&D related stuff for 5th edition. She is the daughter of Baba Yaga, which is a witch from children's stories that I actually grew up with. We had Baba Yaga in school, and parents and grandparents used to scare us with them. Eldritch Blast is the quintessential cantrip, the quintessential spell pretty much for warlocks. Evocation cantrip, crackling energy. It does damage. Technically, mechanically speaking, but it's flavorful. You can imagine the kind of damage that it does. Ooh, this video is getting long. All right. Thunderclap. Why not? Clap that thunder like your mama gave it to Zeus. This is no wonder I'm a failed comedian. Okay, standard array. The warlock's spellcasting ability is charisma, I'm pretty sure. So let's do 15 on that. Intelligence is already going to be pretty high because of the racial bonus, so let's put that at the lowest. And dexterity should be pretty high because we can do stuff with knives, just like Vamp. And next. It's useful, by the way, if you don't have any ideas on what you want to do with your character, it's useful to just think of a fictional character and try to replicate that. And there will come variations and stuff, and that'll give you ideas on what you actually want to do. So if you force yourself down a constrained path, the places you want to go to from that path, where you want to veer off to, that's how you know you really want to do something. Whereas if you're just, well, you can do anything you want, you really, what do you do with that? Nothing. I hope I'm making sense. Let's go with Criminal Spy. Yes, why not? Skill proficiencies, Dragon Chest set. Okay, personality traits. We didn't do this for the cleric. We don't need to do it for this either. Okay, equipment. Simple weapon. What are we gonna do? Yiklwa and an arcane focus, which is a wand. Diablo 2 vibes. Let's go a Dungeoneer's pack because we're a deep gnome. Deep gnomes are from the Underdark. The Underdark is like the underworld of the Forgotten Realms. It's very cool and very spooky. Let's go dart. No, let's go boomerang, motherfucker. Add starting equipment. We're gonna then put these things on. Wield the boomerang. Wield the 2 fucking daggers. For something like this, I'd be willing to go, yeah, you can wield all three of them at once, because like your daggers are just here by your thing. You can like quick draw, and then your boomerang, you just whatever. The Yiklwa, look that up. It's a pretty cool looking weapon. And you're gonna wear the leather armor because, of course, why not? View character sheet. Now, for level 1, there isn't much difference between this guy and, for example, a wizard. But at level 2, you get your otherworldly pact. And I may as well demonstrate it to you here and now, because this video is already long enough. And even though I'm making less and less sense as we move along, as we move on, okay, forget that sentence. We're going to set our XP to 500, apply the changes, and that brings us to level 2, right? We are now level 2, which means manage levels. Okay, here's a little thing. So we're gonna go level 2. Here we get Eldritch Invocations. What does that mean? So we can get stuff like Thief of 5 Fates. That sounds pretty powerful. The 5 Fates are kind of like the gods of the gods in at least Greek mythology. I'm not too sure about D&D mythology. You can cast Bane once using a Warlock spell slot. You can't do so again until you finish a long rest. Okay, fine. That's fine. Agonizing Blast. What does that do? When you cast Eldritch Blast, add your Charisma modifier to the damage it deals on a hit. Okay, so we get 2 modifiers. We get the... No, only the 1 modifier, because before it didn't have a modifier. Anyway, you can play around with these things and see what happens. You should also get another spell slot in another known spell. Hellish Rebuke, why not? And that's pretty much the Warlock at levels 1 and 2. Next, Sorcerer. By the way, there are tables for each of these guys that kind of summarize everything that you can do. So let's create a Sorcerer very quickly because my eyes are starting to close. View campaign. Create unassigned guy, confirm. It's gonna be a guy this time, and we're gonna go with Dragonborn because Dragonborn and Sorcerer go pretty well together because of the Sorcerer's origins, and it's gonna be a red Dragonborn. Magic and stuff. Eberron, no thank you, Baron. Do not ignore the coin weight. And what's his name? Drake. Gith is really cool, by the way. That's... Look into those guys. Draconic Ancestry. Let's go. Red Dragon, like Hannibal Lecter. Okay. What did we say? Sorcerer. Add class. Wild Mage is really cool, but I'm not showing. I'm not showing you that now because I've already decided on the other guy. Okay, let's go. I don't know. Persuasion and Intimidation because he is a fucking Dragonborn. Sorcerer's origin. Draconic Bloodline. Dragon Ancestor. Once again, Red Dragon. It doesn't really make sense to choose a different one from what we chose in the race part. Okay, spells. Cantrips, we know 4 of them. So that is, let's see, Firebolt and Green Flame Blade, Massage, and Minor Illusion, why not? Then, fucking Earth Tremor, Mage Armor, which is always pretty good, and that is it. Next, abilities. The Sorcerer uses... What does the Sorcerer use? I think it's wisdom. No, it's not wisdom. What does he use? Not intelligence. Charisma? Dexterity? I don't know. Let's see. Okay, we'll leave that for now. And come back to it later. Background. What's the background gonna be? Haunted one. Survival of the fittest. Arcana, Gith, and Infernal. Well, out of darkness, those who look into your eyes see your eyes. Equipment, any simple weapon. Let's go with, what is that? Javelin, why not? The Engineer's Pack, that's fine. Okay, Javelin, yeah, all this stuff is fine. Wield and wield and wield and wield. Next, what's next? Ooh, yes, we didn't choose ability scores, that's why we can't see the thing. Okay, let's go. Standard array. I'm gonna guess that this is dexterity. It's not dexterity. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Okay, dexterity, let's make that 8. Constitution 13, intelligence 14, wisdom 15, charisma 10. Okay, good. Character sheet. Let's see what our spellcasting ability is. Oof, this is going on an hour. Spells. Sorcerer, what's our... It must be charisma then. Okay, let's go back and change those things. Edit character. Kind of makes sense for it to be Constitution though, I would think. Abilities, charisma will be the highest. 15 plus racial bonus, so that's good. We're gonna get a +3. Wisdom 10. Okay, we don't need to change anything else. Back to the character sheet. And now modifier is +3. Very nice. So you will see here that this is +5 because we have proficiency and because our modifier is +3. So when it was +0, this would have been a +2. I just didn't happen to, you know, point it out. But anyway, this is a sorcerer at higher levels, and because this video is getting very long, and so is my head, I'm just gonna end it here. Okay. The sorcerers have a unique thing called sorcery points and font of magic, which gives you nice little add-ons to your sorcerousness, which you can look into yourself. I'll probably re-record this video tomorrow. I am only uploading it here and now because I promised that I would, so that's what I'm going to do. And that'll be it for this video. I'm sure everything I've said could have been said a lot quicker and a lot more concisely and all of those nice words, but it is late. Okay, Good night, everyone. And good night, everyone.